What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode on my channel, The Confessions of a Hebrew Israelite. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God, to His Son, Yahshua, and to the Holy Spirit, the teacher of all things. Today's video is going to be about targeted individuals. I am a targeted individual. Now, what is a targeted individual? Now, a targeted individual is someone who has been placed in a CIA, DIA, government program, behavior modification program, control and manipulation program. So there was technology created for warfare to be used in war. I think it originated in Russia. And what happened was that the government took this technology and started using it on everyday civilians and started experimenting on us with this technology. Now, technology can be neutral. So, I mean, they could use this technology for good or bad, but they choose to use it for evil. The experimentation probably happened eons ago because this technology today is very, very, very sophisticated. Now, this program or this technology comprises of many different things, but mainly what is being used are energy weapons. Energy weapons, which is sonic microwaves, it's lasers, electronic harassment, it's psychological warfare, it's mind control, okay? It's concentrated radiation, concentrated frequency. So 70% of all targeted individuals are women and children. Yes, you heard me correctly. Women and children, 70%. And, you know, it kind of makes you think about the state of the men right now. Okay? So parents, this can be hereditary. This can be passed down to your children. If you are a targeted individual, more than likely your child will also be a targeted individual. With this technology, they can stage, okay, any type of accidents. If you find yourself constantly having car issues and car troubles and your car is constantly breaking down, this technology can be causing that. These weapons can cause death, very aggressive cancers. So this is genocide. This is modern day assassination. And you know, with that being said, I would just like to insert that, you know, if anything were to happen to me, I am not suicidal. And outside of these perps, I have no enemies. Okay? Now, they have the power to stage incidents, all right? So they make it look like an accident, but more than likely, if you are a targeted individual, more than likely it is not an accident, okay? Another thing that they use is gang stalking. It's a term called gang stalking. It's an organized stalking program. They have actual people. They hire everyday civilians who are in this program who stalk you and create certain environments for you, and they're in on it. They are very much aware of what they're doing. They are getting paid to do it, and a lot of the times it's your family and your friends in this gang stalking program. Business sabotage. Okay, I had my own business and they sabotaged it. Hired a website designer to do my website, and he held on to it for a year. I ended up having to hire an attorney. These people in this gang stalking program are everyday civilians. So you might find yourself actually hiring one of these perps, okay, to install your home security system or to replace your keys. I mean, you never know. So it could be your child's teacher. It could be your neighbor. It could be your mechanic, your doctor, you know, just sitting there spying on you, taking orders on how to sabotage you and your life. It could be your mother. These people are sick. Like, they get raises for certain things. Like, say if you were to take your own life, or if they were successful in anything, they would actually get like a raise. They would get like a bonus from that. So it's a very, very, very sick program. The fact that they can recruit everyday, normal, working, middle class, you know, poor civilians to participate in this program is pretty out there. They can do whatever they want with this technology. They can manipulate your environment, the people around you, because technically everybody is a targeted individual, and I'll get into that a little later in the video. and explain how this technology works, but they can literally take this technology and manipulate the people around you and create certain environments for you, set the stage. There's people who cooperate in this program and assist in setting stages in certain environments. These energy weapons have the power. It's so sophisticated that it has the power to manipulate your body, mind, your will, and your soul. It can suck the soul out of you. It can alter and manipulate your emotions. It can alter and manipulate your thought and your will. And the whole time, you have no idea that you are being manipulated. You think these are your desires, your thoughts, and you think it's your will. This is how sophisticated this technology is. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi flick, but it's very, very, very real. It really exists, and it's an international program. There's people all over the world who are involuntarily in this program.
This mini documentary was created to show that energy weapons not only exist, but are being actively used by governments and rogue groups around the world. It is dedicated to those individuals who have been viciously attacked without recourse or acknowledgement by law enforcement, the medical establishment, or by government. Energy weapons are not new, even though governments and intelligence agencies want you to believe they're just in the research phase. In reality, they're much more prevalent than most people realize. Wikipedia has a page on energy weapons showing that the United States, Russia, India, and the United Kingdom all have acknowledged having energy weapon programs. Although Wikipedia claims that these systems will not go into place until the late 2020s, we know this to be a false statement. There's evidence to show that Russia has been testing and using energy weapons since the 1950s, specifically on the U.S. Embassy, while the CIA watched and observed, letting our embassy workers suffer. Eventually, most of them developed cancer and later filed a major lawsuit that was quietly settled out of court, surprisingly enough. More recently, in late 2016, the American embassy in Cuba came under attack by suspected energy weapons. U.S. intelligence operatives based in Havana started reporting hearing bizarre buzzing noises that was quickly followed by nausea, dizziness, memory loss, and headaches. Medical tests conducted by doctors at the University of Miami and the University of Pennsylvania found the attacks have left brain tissue damaged in many victims. Energy weapons are the only forms of attacks that can pass through walls, defy detection, and leave zero trace of attack itself, besides the effects, of course. Directed energy weapons include laser, microwave, plasma, and sonic weapons. Of these, only microwaves can pass through walls, aren't visible, and can provide enough energy to do the level of damage that occurred on the embassy workers in Cuba. There's also Tesla's neutral particle beam weapon, also called Tesla's death ray, that can cause quite a bit of damage. Microwave-directed energy weapons was determined as what was used, or they thought what was used. This type of weapon will likely boil parts of victims' brains, cause the damage that they found, if it's focused precisely enough at its target. If you really want to have a major effect, you use high-power pulsed microwave, or HPM waves, which creates a sledgehammer effect in comparison to subtle alterations produced by ELF, or extra low frequency fields. According to a 1982 Air Force review of biotechnology, ELF has a number of potential military uses, including dealing with terrorist groups, crowd control, controlling breaches and security at military installations, and anti-personnel techniques in tactical warfare. That same report states electromagnetic systems would be used to produce mild to severe psychological disruption or perceptual disruption or disorientation. They are silent, and countermeasures to them may be difficult to develop.
It is an attack on North American weather. The weather is being manipulated from outside of the country. The hurricane that slammed into New Orleans was guided in there. So was the Hurricane Rita and Gaston and some of the others. We believe that the Russian systems that have been developed since the late 50s, early 60s in Russia is the ultimate weapon, and we have no defenses against it. It's called scalar. That's a modern name for the systems. Scalar weapons. There are three divisions of scalar coming against America. One is called energetics, and one is called bioenergetics, and one is called psychoenergetics. The psycho function can actually manipulate mind, thoughts, personalities, and cause astronaut Lisa to wear a diaper driving across the country.
Really?
That kind of thing, yes. There was an admiral on an aircraft recently that stood up and said to everybody on the plane that he had smallpox, and they took him off the plane. He was in medicine. That was psychoenergetics. It's functions on the mind and mind functions. You can actually insert another personality in the person. The bio comes against living bodies, their biochemistry. And the energetics can come against the Challenger, the Columbia, the Thresher submarine, where 129 men died. Those were, we believe, we are sure they were attacks by Russian scalar weapons.
Now, can you just help us understand? That's a big title: Atmospheric Sensitivity and Validation Study of the Variable Terrain Radio Parabolic Equation Model. What is, sir, and I have to, excuse me for asking this, but what is VTRPE?
It is a sub-program, a computer program within the radio frequency mission planner system that's key to battlefield operations. It is key. We cannot fight wars without that. We've come to that. As in World War II, you put a man in the field with a gun and say, go shoot him, but today's military operates by a satellite and ground radar. So this system ties into satellite radar and ground radar, and that VTRPE can paint a three-dimension battlefield image over land terrain from a ship 200 miles in the Atlantic or the Pacific.
All right, so you say originally it was done to get this three-dimensional battlefield imaging for warships and then for battlefields. Now, how does that translate into something that's going to be negative for our health, though?
You're using barium salt and other DARPA aerosols. You're primarily using a mixture of barium salts to make it work over land terrain adequately, accurately.
And there are some serious negative effects using barium, and of course a lot of that information is at Carnicom.com. What else do you see as being a problem of doing? Now, you're saying that this was an allegedly somewhat innocuous program to try and just do battlefield imaging.
That's how it started. Then DARPA got into it, and other agencies got into it, and God only knows where it is now and what's coming out of those planes. You see, I tried to paint a picture hurriedly of the Iranian-Contra, which was a CIA operation, and this pretty much is a CIA Navy operation. You're dealing with people, you don't know who they are, they're not accountable to anybody, they're capable of dastardly things. You see, the American people are totally out of the loop. Their reality is based on their life experience. The way you judge things and the way you process things, your opinions are based on your own life experience. Most people haven't had these experiences.
This month, California has been severely affected by 3 devastating fires: Camp Fire in Northern California and in the south the so-called Woolsey and Hill. U.S. authorities have confirmed that at least 74 people have died in the catastrophic forest fire north of California, active for a week, while another 1,000 are still missing. What is already considered the most deadly and destructive wildfire in the history of the state could now become one of the worst catastrophes in the United States.
Complex topic. It's how to clone a human mind onto another mind, and they're called cybernetic hive minds. And under the right circumstances, yes, I know your viewers won't believe this, yes, someone else can actually see through your eyes and hear through your ears. All your 5 senses are cloned, as well as their senses onto yours. And so they can make you do things. They make you smell things you don't normally smell, or hear things that, are not physically there, or see things in your third eye, which is called the visual workspace.
My presentation considers electronic harassment an atrocious crime which can manifest itself as a within-community form of high-tech terrorism. Based on the accounts and testimony of many victims, this type of crime has been in the making over the past few decades, though both the extent of the crime and the sophistication of the underlying technologies seem to have grown dramatically in the past 15 years. Let me start with some background on the technology and crimes. For those of you who are new to this topic, it is important to highlight some key terms at the outset. The essence of being a targeted individual, or TI, is to be singled out for a covert campaign of persecution, intimidation, terror, assault, and even torture within one's local community. Covertness is a unifying element of these campaigns. According to many TIs, the terror campaigns are long-lasting and relentless. They even tend to follow victims when they move to new locations to escape their targeting locally. You might ask yourself, how can a relentless campaign of persecution, intimidation, terror, assault, and torture be carried out covertly in modern democratic countries? The answer lies in the criminal methods employed, which are organized stalking and electronic harassment. By design, these crimes are extremely difficult to document, and they are also difficult for bystanders to witness.
In this field, we're definitely, there's an attempt to silence us. There's everything from weaponry to ritualistic type practices to things like plants in the form of people that have been set up, maybe, mostly I would say through mind control.
Is the eye gaze tracker. Is that where they can see through, for instance, I feel that they can see through my eye. Is that what that means?
Okay. No, that's an interesting question. So the eye gaze tracker is actually a system that they use so that you don't need a mouse. So literally wherever you're looking on the screen, and if you blink twice, it has its own operating system, and it will pull up that menu item. And it's a way so that the people don't have to leave fingerprints, they don't have to do anything. What you're talking about is EEG cloning, and that is a very...
Yeah, that's one of the most disturbing things I have, Robert, is the thought that these people have hijacked my life for 7 years.
And this is being targeted by someone who we can't fight or see. But this is, the way I described it in my book is that this is not like a schoolyard bully that you can fight.
It is a program of oppression and isolation and torture and instability and joblessness and so on and so forth. And these people who are in charge of this program, they don't answer to anybody. They're above the law. They answer to Satan himself, okay? These people are very, very, very wicked and evil, all right? And so they want us to self-destruct. All this technology is being used to cause us to self-destruct. You know, their ideal is for us to either kill ourselves from the torture, kill someone else, take it out on other people, have a breakdown, mental breakdown, do something that makes us look loony, because, you know, you can't prove none of this technology exists. You can't follow it, okay? So it's designed to kind of discredit the person and make the person look unstable, potentially for that person to end up in a mental institution. It's to destroy the individual. They want these individuals to self-destruct. They want to destroy us. And this technology, I can feel it on my head, you guys. I get hit every day, all day. There's not a day where they're not hitting me with this technology in my head. Sometimes I feel it on my heart, my chest. I have chest pain. Sometimes it's hard to breathe from it. They can hit your internal organs and cause organ failure. They can cause tumors. They can cause stroke. I had to teach myself how to monitor my own thoughts, because I had to learn how to recognize when I was being manipulated. And my emotions, like I couldn't understand why sometimes I would just get super angry out of nowhere, or super sad out of nowhere, or just uneasy out of absolutely nowhere, no reason at all. That's not natural, you guys. It's not natural.
Well, how do these work? Well, let's give you a quick primer on brain waves if you were going to target the brain. Neurons in our brain communicate with each other in the form of brain waves measured in hertz, also called brainwave activities. Researchers in the 1930s and 40s identified several different types of brain waves. Traditionally, these fall into 4 types. Delta waves, below 4 hertz, these occur when you're sleeping. Theta waves, 4 to 7 hertz, are associated with sleep, deep relaxation, and visualization. Alpha waves, 8 to 13 hertz, occur when we are relaxed and calm. Beta waves, 13 to 38 hertz, occur when we are actively thinking and problem solving. Research on manipulating our brainwaves continued from those early days back in the 30s and 40s when they categorized our brainwaves. And now scientists are able to significantly affect our brainwave activities. According to a CIA document from 1977, using ELF frequencies induces paranoia at 4.5 hertz, depression at 6.66 hertz, manic rage at 11.3 hertz, and manifests various health problems in troublesome or unwanted populations, which you can see how they would use that. Other symptoms can be depression, befuddled thinking, loss of memory, stress, not being able to cope, manic behavior, schizophrenia, nervous breakdowns, physical collapse, brain and nerve system damage, heart attacks, and cancer, and even very fast-acting cancer.
And it's really helped me tune into myself and monitor my thoughts and my emotions, because this technology has the power to do that. You think they're your thoughts, and they're not. You think those are your emotions, and they're not. It's directed frequency, okay? This technology is very, very, very powerful. Black Hebrews have always been in this program. I mean, this program technically has been around for a very, very long time. I mean, Yahshua, known as Jesus Christ, was a targeted individual. So why are individuals targeted? Why are people like myself find ourselves in this program? Why would someone do this to somebody? It's because we are in a spiritual warfare in the last days. We are in the last hour. We are in the last 5 minutes of this age. This age is about to end. So the power structure is changing. It's shifting. Okay. This is war. This is warfare. All right. And you have been chosen by God. You are his chosen seed. Okay. Angels incarnate, specifically here for a particular purpose. The Great Awakening is happening. We are the giants, the sleeping giants, and we are awakening. God is awakening us. Okay. And we must remember who we are. Remember who you are. Okay? The time has come for us to wake up and remember who we are and why God has chosen us and why we are here and what it is we are to do here. We have been chosen to be God's witnesses. He has chosen us from the foundations of the earth to be his witnesses. So, they don't like you. They feel like we are dissonance. Okay, we could be a threat to the system. And that's because they know that that's why we are here. We are specifically here to be a threat. We are divergent, okay? And they come out with movies about us all the time. Hollywood comes out with movies about us all the time, okay? They're talking about us. These movies are referring to us. We are non-conformist. We are considered rebels. And it's not that we intentionally try to be rebels. It's just that the manipulation and the control doesn't work on us, okay? It just doesn't work on us. Check out Divergent. Angels incarnate. You were not randomly chosen for the purpose of experimentation, okay? You have the ability to really truly connect to Christ's consciousness and channel the Most High God and pull him down into this field, this dimension, this plane, okay? They don't want to see that. They're trying to kill that. All right. You have too much light. You're channeling too much of the Most High God. You're too righteous at heart, not always in our actions, but in heart. We're righteous people. There's a seed of righteousness inside of us. And see, a lot of you targeted individuals may never have had a personal relationship with the Most High God, but it doesn't matter. You didn't choose him. He has chosen you. And if you don't have that relationship, if you are an atheist or a Satanist or a bigot or whatever you are, it doesn't matter what you are at the current moment. If he has chosen you, you will come out of wherever you are. You will come out of that darkness into his marvelous light. And see, God has real enemies. God has real enemies. There's people and nations on this planet who hate God and are trying to kill God. Okay, and if you're in here channeling the Most High God and bringing down Christ consciousness, they're not going to want that. They're not going to want to see that. And I notice a lot of the targeted individuals that I am seeing are very, very spiritual. They love God and they love Jesus. They're Jesus freaks. So this is not a coincidence that we all have this in common, that we are all good people and we all have good hearts and we all are very compassionate and just really earnestly good people. This is not a coincidence. You were not randomly chose for an experiment. They're past the experimental phase. They've had this technology for only God knows how long. They're past the experimental phase. They know what this technology does. They know how to work it. They know how to use it. You're not just an experiment at this point. At this point, they are using this technology specifically to stop you from doing what we were put here to do. The only experimentation that they are doing is trying to figure out how to utterly control you, how to make you self-destruct, how to turn you away from the Most High. This is warfare. We are the sleeping giant. All right, we are the end time saints.
Hi, my name is Gay. I've put this video together for targeted individuals, and I myself was a target, am a target. I know what most targets believe, and I know that most of you don't really understand what this is all about. You'll speak about the New World Order, you'll speak about Agenda 21 and HARP and all of these things, but frankly, you don't know why you were selected. In fact, many of you have been convinced that your selection was random, that you're being experimented upon. And that couldn't be further from the truth. That the rogue military scenario is simply more disinformation. And the New World Order agenda is not the meat you've been looking for either. Yeah, there's an agenda, but that's not going to explain why you. Now, what's important for you to understand is that the fact that you were selected was never random, nor was it a retaliatory attack for any specific event in your lifetime. However, you will discover just why you are living and probably always have had to live such difficult lives. Most importantly, you're going to discover that you each possess something extremely precious that you didn't know you had. It gives you a huge, untapped positional advantage. I hope you heard that. This is where your hope lies. Your enemies, on the other hand, and yes, you do have real enemies, have always known about your possession and will do whatever they can to deny you access to it. I promise that this is the information you've been looking for. I'm going to send you to the website to do reading and research.
And a lot of us is marked from birth. They know who we were when we got here. A lot of us has been targeted individuals since our youth. You have the ability to connect to Christ consciousness. All right, you have the ability to connect to the Most High God and channel Him, and they do not want this. So it is very, very, very intentional. We must remember who we are. Remember who you are. We are heroes. All right, we are Earth's last chance at any type of humanity, at any type of remaining life. They want to implement their wicked New World Order, but first they feel like they need to get rid of us because they look at us like a threat to the system. About empowered individuals. And I say empowered individuals because that's exactly what we are. We are empowered individuals. We need to adopt this and stop calling ourselves targeted and start calling ourselves empowered individuals, because that's what we are. We are heroes. Okay, I am an empowered individual. I have been since my youth. Okay, I've been in this program since I was a very, very little girl. I had no idea why my life was so challenging, why my life was so hard. I just seemed to be very, very unlucky, very unfortunate. I would work very, very hard. Don't have a problem with working hard. Highly intelligent, highly spiritual. Most targeted individuals are. And I just couldn't seem to get a break. I just couldn't seem to get a break, and I just never understood why. I didn't know what a TI was. I've never heard of this term before. And so looking back over my life now, I can see that, yes, I've been in this program for a very, 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 very long time. A lot of us are marked from birth. We are not chosen randomly. This is not an experiment. This is war. All right. A lot of people are seeing numbers, numerology. It's universal communication. 144 is the number frequency of Christ consciousness, or for Christ consciousness. Okay, I see 144 everywhere. I see numbers, period. And this is God's way. God has many, many ways of communicating with us, but this is one of the ways that he communicates, is through numerology. But particularly 144 is a number frequency for Christ consciousness. But anywho, they want to destroy this Christ consciousness. They want to kill God, and in order to kill God, they have to kill his channels. Okay, and it's very, very important, because we are here for a very particular reason, that we get as close to God as possible. Pray and fast and seek God's will for you in your life. What is it that God wishes you to do? Okay, and you got to start thinking like a warrior, because that's what we are. That's exactly what we are. As above, so below. The government, if you look at the government and the way that things are set up, and you look at the Bible, the government got everything that they have implemented from God. The way they run this government, taxes, is tithing. So if you look at your government is playing the role of God. They get all this government and stuff. All that comes straight out of the Bible. All that is God. So as above, so below. So we are his witnesses. So on that day of judgment, we're going to be called as witnesses, okay, against these wicked people, against these fallen angels, okay? Not only will we be witnesses on this great day of judgment, but we will judge the fallen. Yes, we will judge the fallen, as in the fallen angels. And this is why they don't like you, because they know that you are going to judge them, okay? And they're going to do anything and everything that they can to stop this Christ movement, because they don't want to face judgment. They don't want to leave this planet. They don't want to leave this plane. They don't want to face their judgment. All right. And so they're going to try to do everything they can to stop it. And that means stop you. And we need to really get tuned into why we are here and what our purpose is, and get into that. And the only way that we are going to know what this purpose is, we need to get as close to God as possible and discover what his will is, okay? Because he has chosen us. And we must get under the protection of God. We have to get as close to God as possible, because we're going to need his guidance. We're going to need his protection. Their weapons that they're using are physical weapons. And then it's very demonic too. It's very spiritual and demonic too. It's both, okay? It's both. Technically, everybody is a targeted individual. Everybody is a targeted individual. It's just that they turn it up for dissonance. They turn it up for certain individuals that they feel are a threat, okay? But everybody has sensitizers. There are sensitizers, and everybody has them. And technically, this technology is being used on everybody. Everybody is being controlled with this technology, implementing a lot of torture, okay? And isolation is one of them. And that goes to show you how advanced this technology is, because they have the power to isolate you. How is it that they're able to control your family members and your friends and actually isolate you, or turn people against you, or cause fights and ruckus and chaos in your life? How are they able to manipulate these people the way that they do? So they're using this technology on them too. They're using this technology on everyone. They just turn it up for certain individuals, okay? It's like my life is a real life Matrix movie, okay? You can see this technology manipulating and these demons jumping in and out of people, and it's like a lot of them aren't even aware of when they are being manipulated. These people, a lot of them are spiritually ignorant. So I am very, very isolated. There's just a lot of spiritual attacks that you have to endure. One of the things I want to point out about being an empowered individual is one of the purpose of them causing so much emotional turmoil is because they have to keep your vibration as low as possible. This technology does not work. It's not effective if you are vibrating on a high vibratory rate. If you are operating in joy or in happiness or in peace, or you are connecting to the Most High God or to Christ consciousness, it is not going to be effective. Okay? It's not going to be effective. They can't reach you. They literally have to bring your vibration down. You have to be operating in anger and anxiety and in fear and depression and sadness in order for them to connect. It's a frequency technology. You have to match their frequency. Like demons can't touch you. They can't, if you're up here, they can't touch you. They have to bring you down here where they are in order to connect and to attack you. Spiritual and demonic attacks, they have to bring you down to their level. So this is why there's so much chaos. This is why they manipulate other people to attack you and pick fights and slam doors and cause noises and look at you funny, you know, anything. I mean, they will do anything and use anyone. Like literally, they will use anything they can to keep your vibration low. So you have to change your perspective on it. Stop getting angry. Stop allowing them to emotionally manipulate you. Understand that, yes, this is happening. Yes, it is happening. Okay, this technology is real. You are really targeted. It's real. Okay, recognize that, accept it, and we have to move on from that. Yes, it's real. This is happening. This is what's happening. Now, what's next? What do you do next? The next thing you do is counteract it and stop feeding the beast. You have to stop feeding the beast, okay? The more you feed the beast, the more they will suck your soul out of you. This is a soul-sucking program. The more you feed the beast, the more that they will suck your soul. And the way that they do this is by keeping your vibration low. They have to keep you in those lower vibratory emotions to connect with you. It's trauma-based mind control programming. Okay, they use trauma, they use turmoil, they use stress. All right, so we have to learn to ignore. You have to ignore it. Don't get emotionally riled up. Change your perspective on it. Know that it is being done intentionally, okay? And ignore it. Laugh, smile, change your outlook on it. And I know that's easier said than done sometimes, but you have to do it. It's very, very important. You have to do it. You absolutely have to ignore this stuff. Another reason why they cause so much emotional turmoil is because we are co-creators. We're not creators. We're co-creators. We co-create with the Most High God. I think they say our subconscious mind is responsible for like 95% of our manifestations. Okay, and so if they can keep you in these lower vibrational emotions, constantly fixated on negative things, they can therefore control what you are manifesting into your life. Okay, it's a way of hijacking and controlling your life is through working through your subconscious mind. You have to be a vibratory match, a frequency vibratory match to whatever it is that you are trying to manifest. You have to match that frequency level. So if you're down here and you're trying to manifest up here, it doesn't work because the levels don't, that's not a match. Okay, so they need to keep you down here so that you can't manifest the power of God, so that you can't emulate or be God's vessel and manifest good things that He wants you to manifest. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me. I would, in the past, would feed into a lot of their tactics. And what happened to me is I experienced a depersonalization. It's where your body goes into defense mode. It's a defense mechanism that your brain and automatically does for you to protect you from all the trauma. So depersonalization is when you just go numb. You lose all sense of emotions and feelings. And I'm still trying to recover from this. And it's very, very hard to fight. It's hard to pray. My connection with God has been affected. My connection with anything and everything has been affected by this. You can't do too much without feeling emotions. And this is another result of feeding the beast, of not ignoring their tactics, of getting angry or getting sad, or allowing yourself to just constantly be in that emotional turmoil and trauma. It will lead to depersonalization. So this is another important reason why you want to ignore. Okay? You have to do it, and try to keep your energy and your vibration up as high as possible. So this is why you find yourself in so much chaos, people just hating you and disliking you for no reason. They are being controlled, and majority of the time they are very much aware of what they're doing. There's gang stalking is very real. These people, a lot of them are aware of what they're doing. They are intentionally trying to provoke emotions to bring your energy down. I have people who drive past me and honk their horns, slam their doors. You know, all these are tactics. A lot of empowered individuals have triggers and sensitizers. I mean, what they will do to keep your vibration low. They'll do anything and use anyone to keep you where they want you. So it is very, very, very important that you keep your vibration as high as possible. One of the ways to do that is your diet. Your diet, what you eat, is very, 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 very important. You have to completely eliminate toxic food. I had to get rid of sugar. Now, it's impossible to completely get rid of sugar and dairy. I mean, there's dairy and sugar in literally everything. It'd be really, really hard to do that. Not saying that it's completely impossible, but it'd be really tedious. But whole dairy, like I had to get rid of whole dairy. Like I don't do milk and cheese and sour cream and ice cream. There's great alternatives for dairy that I do, a lot of vegan and vegetarian options. Sugar, you absolutely, if you are getting hit by energy weapons, you absolutely have to get rid of sugar. It is a major sensitizer.
This is for all the target individuals and others who hear this message. Do not eat sugar or any products that cause density in your blood. The combination of energy weapons and sugar causes resistance in the blood, then causes damages to the tissue, to the brain tissue, to the blood vessels, and other body parts. This leads the victim to become diabetic or have other blood-related diseases, causing sickness and death. Stay away from soft drinks, orange juice, or syrupy products. Only drink water. If you buy any products, make sure it contains less than 2 grams of sugar or less. Anything over that can cause health problems. Drink lots of water and a bit of vinegar to clean out your system every now and then.
Like, I'm not talking about natural sugars like fruits and stuff. I'm talking about whole sugar like donuts. And vitamin therapy and your diet is very, very important, because if you're getting hit with energy weapons, that's directed radiation. They are killing cells. They are mutating your cells with this technology. They are pumping you with the very ingredients for all types of diseases and cancers. So you want to counteract this. You want to put as much nutrition in your body as possible. Green leafy foods, as much greens as possible. High vibratory rate foods. Foods that have a lot of electricity in them. Okay, because you need to counteract all the stuff that they are hitting you with. Candida. You want to get rid of candida. Bad. That's a huge sensitizer. Anything toxic. Products that you put on your body that's toxic. Foods that you put inside your body that's toxic. Toxic people, toxic environments, toxic situations. All these things you must eliminate. And I had to start making my own products, because anything toxic will make you sensitive to this technology. You do whatever you need to do to make sure that you can keep your vibration high. That is very, very key. You want to drink distilled water, because a lot of the water sources have been tainted due to the chemtrails. So you don't want to be drinking spring water, and a lot of these filtration systems do not filter out a lot of these chemicals and stuff. So you want to do distilled water. Distilled filtration is the only filtration system that eliminates everything. Is too heavy to be evaporated. All those chemicals and all that bad stuff is too heavy when it is being evaporated, so it is left behind. Distillation is the only filtration system that will completely purify your water. As far as minerals, the toxicity in the water is going to be outweighing the minerals anyway. Just make sure that your water is pure, and if you have to take minerals, okay? But get distilled and get the toxicity out of your water, okay? Because water is very important. Water goes through every cell in your body, and you want to keep yourself as clean as possible. So diet is very, very important. Being an empowered individual, it's very, very important that your diet is as clean as you can clean it. I had to do organic products because a lot of the sensitizers is due to this nanobot technology. They're putting it everywhere. They're putting it in our food. It's called nanobot technology. Research it. It's all in our bodies, and what they are microscopic computers, and these things can be controlled and utilized to do whatever they want inside your body. Okay, they get information from these things. They get heart rate. They can make them go to a specific area in your body. They can make it do whatever they want it to do to your cells. I did some research on it. It sounds very dangerous. I wouldn't want this stuff in my body at all. But it's all in our foods. It's that genetically modified organisms, the GMOs, these foods. They're loaded with this nanotechnology. This nanotechnology that is in our bodies, these microscopic computers, makes us super sensitive to their technology. Okay, so you want to try to eliminate as much of GMO foods as possible.
This is Julian Assange. Many people know him for founding WikiLeaks and also exposing much of what upper-level United States government officials and UK government officials did not want the mainstream public to ever find out or know about. But this is about the interview that Julian Assange gave. Into the interview, he talks about this intelligent, evil dust that is everywhere and in everything. He also has much knowledge about quantum physics and quantum mechanics, things to where I want to show you what is going on with some nanotechnology capabilities they have right now, and understand the stuff that they show us is about 10 years behind, sometimes 20 years behind what they actually have and their capabilities.
And so if you collect those together, you can effectively triangulate someone's activities and behavior. Intelligent evil dust scattered everywhere like confetti in everything. I think it's increasingly hard for human beings to work out how to deal with that.
Now, 5G is not being set up so that human beings can do things faster on the internet. It is for artificial intelligence to be able to do things faster, because humans can only go so fast. Artificial intelligence can go 10,000 times faster than humans when it comes to digital and mathematical equations. So what else can 5G power? 5G can power nanobots, nanotechnology, which are basically microscopic robots that have artificial intelligence.
One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection.
Intelligent evil dust scattered everywhere like confetti in everything.
How would you suggest that this is going to be dispersed? Aerosol?
Well, so the present plan and the tests that we've done so far have used respiratory viruses such as flu or rhinoviruses. And we believe that that's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses.
What we want to do is get complete control of the structure of matter, including our own bodies, down to the molecular level. What would this look like? Well, here's something that's happening already. This is already happening. It's called here nanoscale robots. In other words, there are nanoscale devices that go into the brain. This is sounding very science fiction-y. So these devices are mechanically actuated DNA origami robots tethered to metal nanoparticles. So if that's what we have today already, how long will it be before we can take and carry out major changes down at the molecular level using some kind of DNA robots? I know, wild, isn't it?
But what I want you to look at here that she actually brought up on screen, thought-controlled nanoscale robots in a living host. And she said this is going on now. And how small was the scale? It was microscopic enough to put into a mosquito's brain. And she said that the mosquito had full control of these nanoscale robots. But can a robot be hacked? Think about the smart cars and how they were talking about in news stories about how smart cars were hacked and caused to drive off the road.
Hey guys, you're watching Mia's new pair of glasses, and we're going to talk more about these nanofibers. And if you ever doubt, or if you have anybody in your life that doubts that they are not trying to kill and control us on every level, then you need to show them this video. This is just about 10 minutes, and I would really hang in and listen to it. And I'm going to show you images of these fibers in all types of food. Not only are we breathing it in, but this is in 100% of our food. And this is really important because there's no way you're going to avoid it. So let's listen to this interview and watch these images.
Contamination is a difficult term. I would say everybody has been in contact. We have films, we call it dry particle storm. We just ignite ultraviolet light at night, and then you see these fibers being in the air everywhere. So there must be tons of it around, and I would say everybody who is living on the planet was in contact with these fibers. Then you can say, okay, once it is inside the system, does it grow, and how far does it grow? So I would suggest, or I would believe that maybe in Europe 70% of the people have fibers within their body, but they're not growing explosively. There are a few here, a few there, don't interfere with health. So it's just something that is within the body, and the body is not able to completely get rid of it, but it's not kind of taking over the body. If you look at the heavy cases where you can see things coming out of the skin because of this biology is exploding within the human body, we can talk about 300 to 600,000 registered cases worldwide. So if you look at it as a transhumanistic technology, they don't want to have us ill. The transhumanistic technology basically wants to have a few of those fibers available within the body, because it is again a possibility to communicate between a radio signal or an external computer, if you want so. And this time it is not the nervous system of the body, but it is the light communication that is transmitted all the time between the DNAs of the different cells. You might look into more spiritual descriptions of what is a human and talk about the chakra system. There you have colors associated to your light body, which is blue, green for the heart chakra, yellow for life force, red, orange for anger, and red for sexuality. So this is the basic system that is targeted. It's not about getting on our nerves in a way. It is about getting into our light communication. You can read it as a line of coincidences. You can read it as a very intelligent concept. It starts with vaccinations. Vaccinations contain mercury, and the mercury is changing the environment for candida within the body. It makes candida grow. And the second thing mercury does is it is higher the rate of infection in childhood. It basically triples it. Infection today is treated with antibiotics, and then the antibiotics kill the rest of the, let's say, probiotic candida forms that normally live within the body. The moment it stops with the antibiotics, the environment is empty of candida, or the candida is killed, except all the pathogenic forms. They regrow and resettle on the entire environment, and then we have a antibiotica-induced change of the candida environment within the body. And the forms that are surviving antibiotics, they're really evil stuff because they don't serve as part of the healthy nature in the body. They try to take over. So the first thing they do is they send some signaling chemistry or hormones to the liver, and the liver is shutting down the lymphatic flow. So the liver stops detoxing. The liver is still detoxing the blood, but all the toxins taken out from the blood are stored within the liver because the lymphatic flow is blocked. Then it comes to an over-acidification of the body because of the liver not working properly, and to a further pollution with heavy metals. And this is exactly the environment the fungus loves. He loves acidity and he loves heavy metals. And once this is established, the body opens for the next disease, which is Borrelia. So you have a kind of row of diseases building up on top of each other. If you have Borrelia for a few years, you're completely intoxicated with the poisons they create. The liver is still not able to deal with it. And the last step in this line of development is that the body allows the Morgellon to grow, because the Morgellon has this function of taking in heavy metals and poisons and up-concentrating them in these structures, and there it is not of any danger to the body. So basically the body is asking the Morgellon to help out storing heavy metals and poisons, what he does, what he loves to do. So let's say the Morgellon is prolonging the life of the human by 3 or 4 years by first taking in all the poisons. But of course the Morgellons themselves also create their own poisons, and they start to multiply and grow and grow and grow more and more. So at a certain point, basically the human is lost, and the last step of the Morgellon is, okay, I used to be your friend, so let's take you out of the game, I'll kill you now, because this is hopeless. So this is basically the entire setup of this line of diseases. And the beauty of it is that it is very, very easy to cure it, because you need to go to the first steps and restore the candida environment, take out the mercury of the body, restore the candida environment, and then all the further steps pull back, and the Morgellons normally they disappear after 3, 4, 5 weeks. You see the entire system healing. So there's a big beauty about understanding the disease and being able to intelligently fix the basement. And this is adopted from computer technologies. It is, you could imagine it as a line of transistors. So certain fractions of DNA that work as a transistor, and they react on outer frequencies, which gives you the possibility to utilize something that works in a similar way to a telephone call. Each transistor is opening when it hears a certain frequency, so you can start to dial in. First number is a frequency that is opening the first transistor, second number is a frequency that is opening the second transistor, and only if all the numbers are in the right order and heard in a certain line of tones in the range of gigahertz, and the entire sequence is opening up. And what you get is a signal to the neighboring DNA that is activated then. So you have a system where you can dial into the genetics and make it either create light that you want to have created, or you make it create a substance. And this could be a heavy poisoning agent, for example. I don't know what, some cell poisons that kill you within minutes, that create cancer, that kill you within seconds. Everything is thinkable and possible once you have this dialing in thing established. And the way you put it into the human body is combining it with the lipopeptides. It is something, I think they adopted it from the principles of nature, how viruses infect cells. It is an agent that is opening the membrane of the cell and pulling the artificial RNA or DNA inside the cell to have it inserted into the chains of the natural DNA. As it looks like, the diseases we are suffering now, and this is basically, if you look at the last state, it is autism. As it looks like, the entire geoengineering topic is heading to the point where the human soul is driven out of the human body, giving space for demons or an outer species to take over our biology completely. So this is kind of the full picture that is about, let's say, planned from the other side. And what we have been trying to do is find on the medical side solutions that help to heal all the diseases connected to it and help to close the human body, because it reappears wherever you go.
So what they're trying to do is turn us into robots. They're trying to turn us into something that they can remote control. Okay, it's the ultimate control move. These people want and desire and lust after control. And this is the ultimate control over your entire being, is these there's other things, but this nanotechnology is just, it's ultimate control, okay? So Satan wanted to be like the Most High. So this is his version of being in control, okay? Control of all creation, control of our wills. See, the world is selling out to Satan, and the more that this happens, the smaller the remnant gets, the more that this big red X on your back, the bigger that it gets. So this is why it is very, very, very important that we, especially being targeted individuals, I'm actually empowered individuals, being the end time saint, and for anybody. I mean, this is anybody, but especially the ones that have a big X on their backs right now. It's very, very, very important that you get as close to God as possible right now. That is very, very key, to get as close to God as possible. One of the ways that you do that is to repent and eliminate sin. Satan is a legalist. He has access to you and your life through sin. You must eliminate as much sin as possible. You do this by learning what God's commandments, statutes, and laws are, and implementing as much of these in your life as possible, creating a true covenant with God. This is how the more you implement His law into your life, the closer to God you will get. Okay, and it's very, very important that we get as close to God as possible right now. We need God. We can't fight this war on our own. We can't fight this war on our own. This is not our war. This battle is the battle of God. This battle is God's, okay? We're not going to be able to fight this on our own. We need spiritual divine help, all right? And you can't fight a spiritual war with guns and ammo and knives. You want to know how you fight a spiritual war? With this right here. This is how you fight a spiritual war. This is your sword, the Word of God. This is your sword, knowing what God's instruction. Did you know gang stalking is in the Bible? This is all prophetic. None of this is a coincidence. It is prophetic. And if you want to know who you are and why this is happening to you and what to do about it, you need to study this right here. What God's instructions are, what He was telling you to do, what He wants you to do. It's right here. This is your sword. You notice when Jesus was being tempted, what did He do? He fought with God's word. That was His rebuttal, okay? That was His sword when Satan was tempting Him during His fast. That's our sword. Is God. God is our sword. And we need His protection. We need His will. We need to seek Him and figure out why He has chosen us and what His will is for us in our life. Because it is not a coincidence that you are going through this. God has chosen you. It is such an honor. It is a very, very great honor. It is an honor. Okay? Praise God. It's very, very painful and it's very, very hard. Okay? But don't give them what they want. This is very, very difficult. But we must be strong. We must be strong and we must seek the face of God and figure out why He has chosen us and what His will is. What is it that He wants us to do? And realize that you are a soldier. You are one of the main characters in this movie. This is the Most High God's movie, and you are one of the main characters in this movie. And you need to identify with that character. What is this character that the Most High God wants you to be? What is His will? Okay, and we are here for a very particular purpose, and we must identify that. All right, we are the sleeping giants that they talk about, and we are awakening. We are awakening. So there's stages. So accept what is going on. Study what it is. Study. I had to study in and out what this was all about, the technology that they're using, what it can do. You have to understand it, right? So study what it is. And then number 2 is to accept the fact that yes, this is happening. This is very, very real. Step 3 is to realize that you play a major role and that it is not an experimentation, that this is war. Step 4 is figuring out what your character is, what your role is in all this. Is to seek the face of God and figure out why He has chosen you and what His will is for your life. What is it that He wants you to do? Okay? As His soldier. We are God's soldiers. We are God's children. We are God's chosen. He has chosen us not only to be His witness, but to be warriors in a great and terrible time such as this. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of this. Even all the misery is ordained. All of this suffering and torture that we are enduring right now, God is still in control. Okay? All of this is ordained, and even the suffering has a purpose. All right, you are refined by fire. You are refined by pressure. So even the suffering that we have to endure right now is all ordained. It is all a part of God's plan. So no matter how tough or how hard it gets, just know that God is in control. He's there and He loves you very, very, very much. And He's calling us. He's awakening us and He's calling us. He wants us to connect with Him, because we have been chosen for a reason. All right, so that's basically what a TI is. Is you are an empowered individual. You have the ability to connect, and they want to stop this. Okay, do things that bring pleasure to yourself. Okay, that is holy. All right, drinking alcohol and smoking and doing a lot of. I'm not saying that you can't have a glass of wine probably here or there. But like anything that will alter your consciousness, is not good. You don't want to do that. Music is very, very, very powerful. Music can be used to disrupt their technology, pleasing music, okay? And I'm not talking about demonic, demon-filled music. You know, gospel is really, really good at lifting your vibration, or music filled with love and inspiration, okay? There's ways to counteract and to get out of this program. Now, you're always going to have a cross or an X on your back. You're always going to be the target. But there are ways to counteract this technology and live somewhat normal, okay? But it takes a lot of discipline. I'm still working at it. It takes a lot of discipline, and it's very, very hard because this technology is very sophisticated. But we must try. We must try. You know, they put us under a microscope with the Death Valley sun over it, and it's pure torture. But we must try to figure out ways to counteract this. And while we are counteracting it, we must get as close to God as possible and figure out what His will is for us, because that is why you are going through this, because you have been chosen. Okay, now what does God want you to do with this honor? Okay, but one of the main ways to counteract it is to not feed into the tactics. It is a soul sucking program. It will suck the soul out of you. If you keep feeding the beast, it will suck your soul right out of your body. It will suck the life out of you. You cannot feed the beast. Feeding the beast is feeding into their tactics. You have to ignore it. So God bless, stay strong, and know that you are not alone. And this is a very, very great honor from God. And just seek Him and figure out what His will is for your life. And just don't give in. Be strong. Be strong. Be strong. We are warriors. We are the sleeping giants. We are the end time saints. Okay. So if there are any questions on the content in this video, I am here to help. That's why I'm here. And I will leave my email address in the description box along with some other related links. Please watch these videos. It will give more perspective. Okay. If you found the content in this video helpful, please hit like, subscribe so that you will get notified of other videos. Comment and please share with your family and friends, because this information could help save someone's life or give them understanding on what is happening to them. Okay, so share, share, share. And stay tuned for the awesome video at the end. God bless.
you.